Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this video finds you. Welcome to Ticks. I know it's been a minute. I'm trying to get back on schedule, but I woke up Monday morning and just decided that I was going to just change around my living room and my dining room. And woo! I love putting together furniture, but man, it leaves you, it wears you out. It wears you out. I've got one more thing to deal with, and then I am done. But I'm trying to get back on a regular schedule. But I had to jump into this whole situation going on in Washington D.C., where they're calling out the National Guard, and for some reason, black people are throwing a fit because I guess getting arrested for committing crimes is racist. I don't know why black people feel that they have the right to commit crimes and get away with it. And I don't mean all black people, of course not. But there's a certain segment or population of us that feels that it's their right to mug and rob and steal, and that being punished for that is white supremacy, which is ridiculous. But at any rate, just to show y'all that they are so tired. They have like, when you talk about black fatigue, let me show you the results of black fatigue, because this is exactly what they're talking about. So y'all remember this story where this guy got socked in his jaw twice over a traffic stop. But what they didn't show you, or what the news fails to show you, is the full video. Like, I mean, he got pulled over for not having his headlights on for an overcast day, which those of you who have dash cams, you know your dash cam illuminates the day just like a body cam or even your phone camera. You'll get a lot more illumination than what you're actually looking at, especially if you've got one of those iPhones or whatnot. So it's brighter than what it looks like. But from the body cam footage, you could see, especially from the body cam footage from the passenger side, the car was wet. The car was wet from the rain. So it was an overcast day. And people were like, well, the sun was out. Like, no, the camera just gave you more light, but it was really an overcast day. So he got pulled over for not having his lights on and not wearing a seatbelt. Of course, he did wind up, as you see in this picture, he did wind up putting his seatbelt on once he finally shut the door. They were asking him to get out. The original body cam footage showed him when the cop pulled him over, and he just got more lip than a little bit, like a little female, when all he had to do was just hand over his license. But of course, as we found out, his license was suspended. He had weed in the car. So he riding dirty all the way through. And for somebody that's so afraid of the cops, as they say that they are, you're so afraid of the cops that you're trying to force a confrontation. You call the cops slave catchers. So calling for the supervisor, for people who like to make all this stuff racial and how it's all like slavery and everything, you're calling for the head overseer, the supervisor, to come and mitigate your arrest, because you're going to get arrested whether the supervisor is there or not. You're wasting the supervisor's time. You're wasting the cop's time. So you're going to prolong your freedom until the supervisor gets there and decides to have you arrested. Because do understand, failure to comply is an arrestable offense. Failure to comply is an arrestable offense. Just take the ticket and go. If you riding dirty, hey, they got you. They got you. But people like him, they think that they can agitate the police enough that they can force some type of confrontation to where a cop might get a little rough with them, or in his case, punch him in his face. And now he's got himself a ghetto lottery ticket. He's going to get the cop fired. He's going to be all on the news with his crocodile tears. Oh, I was so feared, but my life is. But the problem is that thanks to body cams, which you so desperately called for, it actually works in the cop's favor more times than not. More times than not. 9 times out of 10, it works in their favor. It shows your disruptive behavior. How you wanted to fight the cops, the nasty way you talk to them, the nasty way you behave. All of a sudden now you getting tased, maced, punched, dragged, manhandled because you're fighting them all the way. All the way, even in the precinct. You even had judges. What was the judge down here? Christina? What's going on, Detroit? The judge down here, Christina Peterson, when she got arrested for assaulting an officer, fighting with somebody outside of a club, jumping in somebody else's business, hit a cop, got arrested, and the whole way she trying to get out of it by trying to make a phone call before she went into central booking. And the cop was like, I ain't calling nobody. You can make the phone call once you're booked. And in lockup, there are plenty of phone banks on the wall. You can write down whatever number you want to. And once you get in there, you can get in there and make any call you want to. But you're getting arrested. You're getting processed. You will be put in the system. And of course, you saw what happened to her within the next 7 days. She was removed from the bench immediately, even though she was already predetermined to be removed. They just went ahead and just like, you know what? We're not even going to wait. You're done. You're done. You're done. But she fought all the way, called the officer all types of nasty names. This is a judge. But at any rate, this is the outcome of him getting his jaw rocked for resisting arrest up until this point.
The state attorney's office saying the use of force seen in this viral traffic stop involving a Jacksonville sheriff's officer was lawful, and they will not pursue charges against the officer. William McNeil Jr.'s legal team now calling on the Department of Justice to investigate. Christina Burgess joining us live right now outside the state attorney's office. And Christina, I know you've been diving into the memo that was just released today.
Yeah, Anthony, in the 16-page investigative memorandum obtained by First Coast News, the state attorney's office goes into detail on how they got to their decision after reviewing McNeil's viral video, also looking at Officer Bauer's response to a resistance report, body-worn camera footage from officers who were on the scene, and various media appearances by McNeil. Now, in the investigative memo from the state attorney's office, it reveals that Officer Bowers was interviewed by JSO's integrity unit. Bowers says that on February 19th, he observed William McNeil Jr.'s car parked at a house that was being monitored for drug activity. The report also says Bowers observed McNeil not wearing a seatbelt and not having his headlights on during inclement weather.
Keep in mind, there was weed in the car, and he wasn't legally supposed to have it.
Violations of Florida law. Now, in his interview with JSO, Bowers says while he couldn't see McNeil's hands, he saw him reach towards his center console, causing him to break McNeil's window, striking him and taking him out of the car. The report even goes on to state how the state attorney's office never interviewed McNeil, but they used public appearances during press conferences and also his GoFundMe as enough information, some of which they claim to be misinformation. The memo also goes into detail about Bowers' strike to McNeil's face. According to the report, Bowers says the strike was a distractionary blow designed to distract McNeil to take control of him. The state attorney's office accepted this explanation as credible, and they concluded that McNeil was given 12 lawful orders to obey during the traffic stop, but he refused. The state attorney's office deemed Officer Bowers' actions lawful and justified under Florida law. No criminal charges will be filed against this officer. And now, a little after 3:30 this afternoon, McNeil's attorneys released a statement responding to the state attorney's memo. It says, in part, let's be clear, the state attorney's office never interviewed William McNeil. They did, however, try to excuse the fact that Officer Bowers failed to disclose his unlawful distractionary strike. They also tried to decriminalize Officer Bowers punching Mr. McNeil outside the vehicle and completely failed to mention the officer slamming Mr. McNeil's face into the asphalt while he was under control and in custody. Furthermore, they ignored the multiple injuries, including a broken tooth, a concussion, and multiple stitches caused by the officer's use of force. And tonight at 11, I will have more of a breakdown on this investigation.
Even Khalid Muhammad said back in the 90s, comply. Your job is to make it home. Keep in mind, policing was 10 times more dangerous for black people than it is now. They're very soft. Well, currently they're very soft on crime. But even Khalid Muhammad said back in the 90s, it means do what you're supposed to do. Yes, sir. No, sir. Obey all lawful commands. You're not going to win the argument in the street. You know how you win the argument in the street? Being honest. Being honest. Oh, sir, yeah, you got me. Yeah, I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. You know, you got me. Yeah, you're right. I should turn the lights on. I'll never forget me and girl, we coming back from picked her up from work, was heading back to the house. It was about 7, 8 o'clock. You know, here in Georgia, it was a little dusky out. We passed the cop. I saw the cop in my rear view do a U-turn. Quick U-turn. Woo, rolled up on us. Woo, woo, hit the lights. I looked at her. I'm like, what the hell? He got out. He said, hey, how come your lights ain't on? I was like, oh, I'm sorry, officer. Like, we was just going around the corner. Like, I wasn't even thinking about it. He was like, yeah, cut your lights on. I'm like, all right. Cut my lights on. Boom, gone. Didn't bother to give me a ticket or nothing. It just gave me a warning. Just be honest. There's nothing what are you being combative for? Why would you want to exacerbate the issue? Why would you want to try to get a ghetto lottery ticket? And as you can see, that's the state of Florida. You run into the state attorney's office. You go into the ineffective DOJ, Trump's DOJ. You really think they gonna look out for you? That's Florida. Florida, the state where the sheriff got up there and said, we will kill you graveyard dead if you assault one of our officers. We allow people to run you over if you protest in the streets. They can run you down. You ain't heard not one arrest going on out there with those people protesting on the side of the road of Alligator Alcatraz. Not one arrest, not one incident, not somebody getting run over, not somebody throwing a brick at one of those transport vehicles. Not a nothing. You don't even know that they're out there protesting. Those people, you mind your P's and Q's. In Florida, you say, but marijuana is legal though. Yeah, in Florida, you got to have a marijuana card. They don't just let you just walk around smoking weed all day, every day. If you're going to possess marijuana in Florida, you got to have a medical marijuana card. Yeah, but you know what it is. You know why they pretty much dismissed the case and everything, because they're like, dude, you're not going to get a ghetto lottery ticket off of us because you failed to comply, because you was riding dirty, because you were trying to resist arrest, and you figure, well, screw it. You're going to have to take me to jail. Well, they took you to jail, and you got your face busted up because you wanted to be indignant. Ben Crump can't help you. BLM is dead and gone. They got their money. Ask the people of New York up there talking about that Daniel Penny case, how effective BLM is. Why that chick stood up there threatening to burn New York down. And they was like, try it. Try it. Go ahead. Here's the matches. Go ahead. Go ahead. Try to burn it down. We dare you. Yeah, BLM is done. Money grab. But getting back to the topic.
I won't go into the details of the devils of our operation at this point, but you will see Metropolitan Police Department working side by side with our federal partners in order to enforce the efforts that we need around the city.
Can you tell us what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, telling you, or how does this work?
So
That chick is so stupid. That's why democracy has to go. You're right, but this chick was so stupid. They asked the chief of police about the chain of command, and she had no idea what the hell that meant. What does that mean? What do you think it means? Are you in charge, or is Pam Bondi in charge? Who's in charge? What do you mean? What does that mean? This is DC's mayor right here. First, she was against the National Guard coming in, but then suddenly she changed her time. She started singing a different tune. But this chick right here, she should be fired like immediately. Before the end of the month, she should not have a job. She should not have a job because she's unqualified. She was their chief diversity officer. Yes, head of DEI. And now she's the chief of police in Washington, D.C. And I'm going to say this right now about Washington, D.C. That's Washington, D.C. If any place in America is supposed to be the safest place in the country, Washington, D.C. should be it. There should be a mandatory maximum sentencing for any crime in Washington, D.C. Maximum mandatory, or mandatory maximum. Mandatory maximum right there in that district. You commit a crime in that district, you get caught, mandatory maximum. This is the one area in which you don't FAFO. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. But that's not the case. That's ridiculous.
So I think.
And let me say this before I play this video with Simone Sanders. Because it's been, let me discombobulate myself or get my thoughts together here. When I had the Embrace Villainy channel, the first one, the second one is created, but I'm going to do something different with that. I finally got my mixer and everything. I'm going to do some very nice things with that channel now. At any rate, I was asking myself last year when I was covering all of these body cam videos and crime and everything, especially the body cam videos, where, as I was saying, you see black people getting indignant with the police, squaring up with the police. You got handcuffed. You're a female. You have two daughters under the age of 10, between 5 and 10. You got caught stealing out of a Walmart in Florida. You live in Texas. You get caught stealing a whole cart of groceries. You rang up one Diet Pepsi. It was a diet. It doesn't matter. It was one soda. She rang up one soda, but had a whole cart of groceries and tried to walk out of Walmart, and she got arrested. She's handcuffed. She decides she wants to fight the cop. She jumping up aggressively, y'all in the cop's face, You know, like she Sha'Carri Richardson with her boyfriend at the airport. She trying to throw blows while handcuffed from the back. The cop pushed her down twice. Sit down. Sit down. So then he's trying to escort her to the car. She drops down and dead weights him. So he drags her to the police car in front of her two kids. Kids crying. Ah! She calling the cop racist. He trying to get her in the car. She's kicked him in his face. Meanwhile, on her way to the station, she's saying that her arrest is racist. You just racist. Y'all racist down here in Florida. I'm sorry. Since when is crime legal? But that's what those George Floyd laws did. They made crime legal. You say, yet black people still believe that bullshit and donated $80 million. 3 black women that spent 4 mansions. One of them got burned down, and not most black people celebrate on their downfall. You say, yet black people will celebrate the downfall of black celebrities, though. She called the cop racist. I saw a lot of that, where a lot of, and majority black females were saying that getting arrested or being held accountable for their crimes was racist. But the George Floyd laws made getting arrested they made getting arrested almost illegal. Anything stolen under $1,000 was not an arrestable offense. They downgraded the charges. Even if you did have felonies, they downgraded the charges to misdemeanors. Just like right now in Portland, Oregon, you have these protesters going at each other, going at federal agents. They get arrested by the federal agents. They're back out on the streets within 24 hours. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So for the past 4 years, you have black people, mainly black females, trained to think that getting arrested for committing crimes is racist. In Georgia, all over. But let's get to this. As you can see, MSNBC Simone Sanders says that as a black woman in America, she doesn't think more police make streets safer. Well, then what do they do? Because this is not 1995. This is not 2015. This ain't 1845. This is 2025. You don't all of a sudden come up missing when you get arrested by the police. There are no more. What was the cop in Chicago? He was taking people to this abandoned warehouse and torturing them and disappearing them. There was also a cop down in Florida. He was throwing them in Alligator Alley. Like, people were disappearing. Like, yeah, you can't do that anymore because of body cams. You've never been more safer to get pulled over by the cops today than you were 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. Anyway.
What are the real policies, the wraparound services to address what is happening with the juvenile justice system in Washington, D.C.? Is the National Guard and the military going to address that? I don't think so. So until we start talking about that, we are really adding to the fear mongering, in my opinion, and amping up the rhetoric when we should be tamping it down, because Donald Trump is giving us rhetoric and not the reality.
Really?
You don't think more police make streets safer?
No, Joe, I'm a Black woman in America. I do not always think that more police make streets safer. When you walk down the streets of Georgetown, you don't see a police officer on every corner, but you don't feel unsafe. So what is it about talking about police?
Excuse me. Georgetown is not a poor neighborhood. Georgetown is not a poor neighborhood. Georgetown is not around, the Washington monuments and everything, because that's where a lot of the crime that the National Guard, they were trying to tamper that down as far as like the tourist areas. That's where they were deployed at the majority of the tourist areas, because it's ridiculous that you can't go to see the Lincoln Memorial or the National Monument or whatnot without getting accosted by YNs or homeless people or drug addicts, getting robbed and or deleted as a tourist. But there's a counter argument. But this whole as a Black woman. So what does being a Black woman have to do with crime? Unless, of course, as a Black woman, you support criminal activity, because I've seen that a lot. Didn't do nothing. That whole didn't do nothing. Read my nigga Michael Myers. He didn't do nothing. Yeah. Which Obama signed the law of a blue alert law. Yeah. What's up, Simeon?
Places like Southeast DC, right? Ward 8, if you will, that people say, well, we need more officers to make us safe. I think we have to rethink what safety means in America.
Oh, shit.
Here we go again.
Where is that? Where is that? Here we go.
Someone we know
Based
is
on our
working really hard to change the situation here in D.C.
Based on our investigation, you started the fight. You lost the fight, but you also started the fight.
I haven't had a chance to get
He's got a
someone we
net back
know is
injury.
working really hard.
Nobody did nothing.
I never did nothing. I never did nothing. I never did nothing. No, because I never did nothing. I never been a job before. I never did nothing. I ain't do nothing. I ain't do nothing, man.
Let him know he's 10-15 on the air.
Look, man.
Man, keep him down, face down.
I ain't finna do nothing, man.
I'm just trying to tell you, I ain't did nothing.
11 X-ray, cuffing him now.
You do man.
Why'd you run, man?
I'm saying, what you stop for? I ain't did nothing.
Why were you running then?
I ain't did nothing.
Oh, okay.
I ain't even do nothing.
All right.
Did nothing, man.
5 Yankee 2. Can you start me a Route 294 to Weldon's?
Put your hands on the car.
Oh, my God. I ain't never did nothing, man. What y'all doing, man?
I wasn't in nothing. I don't even know what happened. Cause I ain't do nothing, man. I ain't do nothing. We're saying you did. I ain't do nothing. All right.
I didn't do nothing.
Get everything out.
Nothing, no.
Relax.
No, man, I didn't do nothing. Crazy. Man, this is crazy, man. I didn't do nothing. Y'all don't understand. I didn't do nothing.
You surrounded by 17 cops. I ain't do nothing. All I did was just shoot up the grocery store. I ain't do nothing. But this is what I like. I saw this ABC News Live. Trump has constitutional obligation to make DC safe. Janine Pirro, who, in all honesty, I think Janine Pirro should have been made head of the DOJ, not, no cookies for dinner, Bondi.
Hard to change the situation
Soft
here in
on
D.C.
crime,
The
Bondi.
United States Attorney for DC. Jeanine Pirro. Judge, it's good to see you. I haven't had a chance to interview you once you were confirmed into this position. It's great to have you. I saw you today in the briefing room along with the president and also the Secretary of the Defense talking about this move that the president is putting forth. You know, the last time the National Guard was deployed here in our nation's capital, as you know, was 2021 after the deadly insurrection. Let me ask you, why take such extreme measures to fight crime now?
Well, I think that there is a crime emergency in D.C. And, you know, people say, well, you know, crime is down from last year. Well, so what? Last year, crime was too high. You know, we had the fourth largest, highest homicide rate in the nation. I mean, so let's stop, you know, namby-pambying this. What we've got in this great city, and the president has a constitutional obligation to make sure that this city is safe. And he is doing just that by today deploying the National Guard and making sure that there is enough armed forces, enough forces with the DEA, the FBI, the ATF, the National Guard, to make sure that we send a message to young people and criminals throughout the district that we are watching you, that it's not going to be the same old, that we are taking crime seriously. Because you know, just like I know, if you live in this area, that there are too many young people committing crimes. They're emboldened to commit crimes because they know they're too young to be arrested. If you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you shoot someone in the District of Columbia, I cannot prosecute you. And I'm not just talking about federal crimes. I'm talking about my job as a local DA. Unless you kill that person, I cannot handle the case at all. And young people know it. And that's why we had an intern who went out for ice cream who got shot in the chest last month, an intern in college. We had another individual who was beat down, and but for the grace of God, a cop car drove by, he would have been beaten more severely. He had a broken nose and a severe concussion. 12 and 13-year-old trying to break into the car with a woman in the car that he was trying to protect. And we've got young people in this city. I name them on a bulletin board that I'm happy to show you, who have been murdered with guns where there isn't even a prosecution because the shooters haven't been found or they're too young. So it's about time we recognize that this is something that is sorely needed. And the decision by the president to restore law and order is one that I would think that most law-abiding citizens in D.C. would be very happy about.
All right, you just pointed out that much of the crime here that's happening in our nation's capital is committed by, and this is the term you've used, young thugs. You've said that a lot. So tell me,
young punks. Yeah.
Young punks. Okay.
Yeah.
So what will happen with these minors now?
Okay, what we're going to do is we are now going to move to get the DC Council to change their Youth Rehabilitation Act, the Incarceration Reduction Act, and their Record Sealing Act. The DC Council has done nothing but draft legislation and pass laws that literally erase the ability of judges to sentence individuals appropriately. So if a 19-year-old gets on a public bus, imagine yourself on this bus. It's a public bus.
Wait, let me stop this. Let me show you something here. Let me show you how they try to be funny with this. See how violent crime is down, and property crime is down, and crime overall is down? That's because when you can be arrested for this, but the charge either gets dropped or you get a lesser charge. This is why these crime numbers are down. You get a lesser charge. Like she was saying, the kids were trying to break into a car. They were trying to carjack this woman. And the guy who got beat up with the concussion, with the broken nose, was the Doge employee, Big Balls. That's what started all of this. Where Trump was like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I'm done. This is ridiculous. It was Big Balls. So, yeah, they lowered. This is what I'm talking about. You get arrested for stealing a cart full of groceries. You should be going to jail for that. Instead, you get trespassed from the Walmart and let go within 12 to 24 hours with just a summons to appear in court next year. But or just the trespassing charge. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Matter of fact, what they fired, I think a police commissioner or whatnot for fudging the crime stats. Anyway,
public bus. Imagine yourself on this bus. It's a public bus. There's a family on the bus. He comes on the bus with an illegal gun, shoots someone in the chest. What does that tell you? In the chest, that is an intent to kill. The kid doesn't die who's shot. The judge sentences this 19-year-old with an illegal gun to what? To probation for a couple of years, says go to college. No, this is unacceptable. And what we've got to do now is we've got to lower the age. We've got to lower the age to 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. Because if these kids, even if they are arrested and they go to family court, what is the focus? The focus is rehabilitation. What is rehabilitation? You can go to yoga. You can go to an ice cream social. No, let's stop playing games. People's lives are impacted. People who work in the district are afraid to go out at night. Congress people's family members are not interested in coming here. The people who live here and don't have their own protection deserve to be protected. And that's what the president's going to do. And that's what I'm going to do. So it starts today. But there's a lot more that we've got to do going forward. And this cashless bail nonsense is for the birds. We've got to change that as well. The idea that someone can keep getting cashless bail and keep being removed and allowed into the community again emboldens the criminals to believe that they cannot be stopped.
All right, Judge, you're talking about the minors, but again,
like whatever happened to, like seriously, hold on. Like whatever happened to juvenile detention centers? Are you telling me you shut them down? Is that what you're telling me? You shut down the juvenile detention centers because what? You want to decriminalize crime? I mean, that's what it sounds like.
And I'm going to use a personal experience. I was jumped just 2 blocks here from the ABC Bureau. It was not a minor, though. No, hey, look, it's happened to a lot of people in our building, sadly. He was homeless and half-dressed, clearly wasn't in his clear mind. It was scary as hell, I'm not going to lie, but I fought back. I didn't see any weapons in his hands. I felt like it was my only choice. The president did mention that this effort is also going to help clean up homelessness. As we know, many members of the homeless community, sadly, take it upon themselves, like what happened to me, to carry out violence. Not all of them are like that, but and sadly, there are those that do, especially when you bring mental illness into the situation. Mm-hmm. Tell me what's going to happen with them. Will they be arrested? What will they be arrested for? And then where do they go? Because you know as well as I do, just outside those gates of the White House, just outside the ABC Bureau here, we have homeless communities and tents all along the streets and right off the side of the highway. What do you do with those folks, Judge?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's ridiculous. I mean, just in Washington, D.C., there shouldn't be any homeless people. There shouldn't be any homeless people, and there should be maximum penalties for whatever crime you get caught committing. Just in that district. That should be the safest, most cleanest spot in America next to what? Your bathroom. Or your bedroom, well, depending on how you live. But it should be the cleanest, most safest spot in the world outside of your own house. You should be able to walk the streets of DC at night, no matter what area you're in, at 2 o'clock in the morning with dollar bills hanging out your pocket. And people should be deathly afraid of committing a crime there because of the consequences. Just like in Dubai, they'll arrest you in Dubai just for shouting, for yelling. Okay, They don't play that. Why is there a stark contrast?
Well, first of all, let me say I'm very sorry for your situation. And I am even sorrier that every time I talk to someone who's from the area, they either know someone or have been victimized themselves. The second part of my answer really has to do with what we can and cannot do as it relates to the homeless, the mentally ill. Now, if there is no crime committed, then, I am not prosecuting anyone. The president has his own agenda or determination as to how he's going to handle the homeless. He's apparently going to be moving these areas, especially if they're in national parks and locations that they're not entitled to be in, to areas where they can go. And make no mistake, a lot of mental illness is what is at the core of some of the violence that we're seeing. So it's got to be a three-prong approach. You've got crime, you've got mental illness, and then you've got homelessness. You can't answer this all with one agency or one person. And I believe that the president is knowledgeable enough to know that each area has to be addressed in a different way. And that's just what he's going to do.
Gotcha. All right. We can't ignore that one of the biggest acts of violence here in D.C. was January 6th. As you know, hundreds of people were attacked. Police, or President Trump, rather, pardoned a number of them, including...
Of course, this ABC News. They got to keep bringing up January 6th, even though, as we all know, that Trump called for 6,000 National Guard troops to be there, and Nancy Pelosi rejected it. And then you had FBI agents inside the crowd and paid agitators in the crowd that caused a lot of the damage. And nobody was murdered except for that one woman who was shot and killed by a security guard.
Someone who yelled, "Kill him," at the cops. That person now serving in a senior role at the DOJ. How is that law in order?
Well, what I can tell you is that since I have been the United States Attorney, I have brought 300 cases of assaults on police officers. I take these cases very seriously. I know what's in my office and I know what I'm dealing with. I don't speak to anything that occurred before I got there. I have enough cases to deal with right now, and the police know that I have their back, given the fact that I am...
You talking about a case, she talking about a case that happened 4 years ago. 4 years ago. You talking about something that happened 4 years ago. You people can't let that shit go. 4 years ago. Nobody cares about January 6th. Nobody cares about January 6th except for the left.
There to make sure that there is accountability whenever a police officer is spit on or shot or stabbed or assaulted, and that includes corrections officers, Capitol Police. I've got my own record that I'm proud of, and that's the record I'm going to speak about.
Gotcha. Right. Like, I'm not going to speak on that because I don't care. Act, which is what we're talking about, gives the president the authority over the Metro PD for up to a month. After that, it has to be approved by Congress. Can you fix this crime problem in a month, or do you think the president is going to need more time?
Look, I don't think that there's a magic answer to any of these horrible problems that have taken years to develop. I mean, young people who are committing crimes and older people who are committing crimes didn't just decide in 30 days, hey, I can get away with it. They've lived a life where they realize that they're never going to be punished. I think the president has started an excellent, in a way that sends a real clear message. I think at the end of 30 days, he'll make the right decision as to what he's going to do at that point going forward. But it will take a while for us to at least address the things like cashless bail and getting juveniles to be accountable, and not to get them to the point where they can go to an ice cream social if they shot somebody, but the person didn't die. Enough of the nonsense. Time to make young people understand that they cannot violate innocent Americans and anyone else's lives because they've been allowed to get away with it. No more. It's over.
Judge Janine Pirro,
As well as
also
we should
now
be.
the United States Attorney for D.C. Judge, sure appreciate your time. Thank you.
I really do wish that they would have made her, that Trump would have had her as the head of the DOJ. Because Pam Bondi she's such a mouth runner, a do-nothing mouth runner. Anyway, let's get on to the press conference.
You're out of time? That means he's had enough. Goodbye. Thank you. I want you to report on
But
it.
you said it's guns.
important.
You said it's guns on the street that's causing this problem. Are you concerned that the DOJ's funding cuts to gun violence prevention programs undermine the
Stop
effort?
it. We are putting all kinds of resources onto the street.
But what about the gun aspect of the gun violence?
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Hailing the drop in crime rates at the end of it. What changed?
It's never enough. This changed. This changed. It's never enough. You tell these families crime has dropped. You tell the mother of the intern who was shot going out from McDonald's near the Washington Convention Center, oh, crime is down. You tell the kid who was just beat the hell and back with a severe concussion and a broken nose, crime is down. No, that falls on deaf ears. And my ears are deaf to that. And that's why I fight the fight.
My thing is, and it's like a lot of people don't even see it, how you say that part they didn't even mention, right? My thing is that what they're not trying to really tell you, or people are not putting it together, which is why I do this show, why I cover the press conferences. You put 2 + 2 together. You see Trump is trying to end crime, homelessness, and poverty. You end poverty, you end a lot of crime, you end homelessness, all right? At least a lot of violent crime by, as he said, $1,000. $1,000 for babies born in 2026 going in the S&P 500. They're going to invest that for you. Boom, you're a newborn baby. There's $1,000 with your name on it that we're putting in the S&P 500. By the time you turn 18, you and only you can access this money. Only you can access this money. So therefore, if you want to go to college or you just want to be a layabout working a regular job or whatnot, here's the money that you earn from the S&P 500. After 18 years, you can collect. I mean, we were saying this, a couple people have said this, even I said it as far as with Umar Johnson. If he would have just taken $250,000 10 years ago and put it in the S&P 500, wouldn't nobody be talking about, well, I put it to you like this. He wouldn't be begging still and talking about losing the school, crying about $60,000 bill. He wouldn't be doing that right now. He would have the money to open up several schools because the market shot up so much. I mean, good Lord, you had to start. You would have had the money. You'd have been able to open several schools and been running your mouth. You could have really run around talking about I'm the prince of Pan-Africanism instead of the prince of panhandling. I mean, anyway, but yeah, you invest your money. Well, what about the S&P 500? Like, hold on. The S&P 500 is going to grow because of the tariffs. The whole point of the tariffs was to bring jobs, factory jobs, back to America, to get the male working class. You're not going to save America. You're not going to save the economy by the female working class working in an office building, sitting behind a desk all day. You need to produce. You need production. Not a typist. You need producers, builders, in order to make the economy grow. So all those factories that are coming here from foreign nations because they don't want to, it's cheaper to open a factory here than it is to pay the tariffs. In the long run, you're better off. This is your home market. No other market in the world is going to be buying your products than the American market, because this is a capitalist society, not a communist society in which the Democratic Party was trying to turn it into. It's a capitalist society. You kidding me? Almost wore my freaking credit card number out the past couple days just shopping on Amazon. Everything here is here. It didn't come from overseas. It came from here because it was made and produced here in America, not in China. Shoot. But I'm just saying, you know, you don't go to the Walmart in China. But yeah, everything is produced here. You get it here. You build here. You make your economy and your infrastructure great here. We sit up here and talk about, well, you know, the black dollar spends 6 hours in a black person's hands before it leads to another community. Well, the same thing with America. The American dollar needs to circulate 300 times, if not 1,000 times or 600,000 times, right here within its own borders in order to strengthen its economy. Male labor produce strong economies, strong civilizations, strong neighborhoods, because you're there. You've earned it. You bought this house. You bought that car. You'll be damned if somebody's little YN come around and trying to break in your house or bust out your window or something. You'll put holes in him. You'll crack his freaking skull. And dare his little welfare queen mama to say something. Prince of Whopper Jr. Y'all are crazy. The Pookie of panhandling. Anyway, no, ownership is what makes people care. Ownership is what brings down crime. Ownership is what brings down poverty. Earning a decent wage gives you pride in everything. That's how you control your neighborhoods. That's how you control your dollars. You have to own it first. You have to have some sort of investment, be it financial or mental or physical investment. Why do you think poor black neighborhoods look like hell? People don't care, and people be having, this is the messed up part. They be having the money, they just don't want to spend it. Why do you think your neighborhoods get regentrified? One of the funniest things I've seen, like there was a couple here, they were real estate scammers. I think they were here in Georgia. Real estate scammers, just like with old dude with the Tulsa thing. You're scammers. But these people were selling people homes in poor black areas, talking about some flipping these houses. Excuse me, just because you bought a house in a poor black area and built it up, the only thing you did was raise the property tax a little bit for your neighbors, but nobody's going to move into that simply because you trying to one-man army regentrify a neighborhood or fix up a neighborhood. When a neighborhood is being regentrified by a corporation, because normally that's what happens when there's a regentrification process, a corporation is backing them. Hey, this company, Fortune 500 company, is moving into our city in downtown. Well, we've got this midtown area where, the poor people, usually black, they live here. Well, let's start buying up all of these abandoned houses, fixing them up, put a Starbucks in, a Whole Foods, a new library, spend our hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, to fix up these homes, drive the property tax up at least 3 times of what it normally was, and then you start forcing these people out. You force them to sell because they can't afford the property tax. And what you do is, through a shell company, have a real estate company come in, and yes, you know, for those of you who are transferring to work at this new Fortune 500 company that just opened up here in, you know, Columbus, Ohio. Yes, let's show you these newly refurbished homes here in this area. Yes, you can bike to work. Yes, we've got a bike path. Look at the shrubbery. Oh, don't worry about these poor people. They won't be here by the time you move in 6 months. They'll be gone. Look, we've got this well policed. That's when you, as a black person, you buy a shabby house. Talking about fixing it up to flip it. When a corporation comes in and starts buying up property to flip it, that's when you get in on the flip game. Right. Infrastructure brings down crime because it brings in people who give a damn. It brings in people who, you know, their mama sitting at the window with, you know, 911 on speed dial. The kid that got killed, it was a little kid, a 13-year-old kid that got killed in Ohio. This was years ago, about 7 years ago. Him and a 19-year-old out here robbing folks. This was in Ohio. They were robbing folks in the Short North area where they were regentrifying the area. They robbed some white dude of like, I think $10 in his cell phone. A white lady looking out the window saw it. Called the police. Police was already looking for him. They had no suspects, well, you know, outside of descriptions, but you know, they heavily patrolling the area. Area that's being regentrified. The 19-year-old gives the 13-year-old the gun. Keep in mind, it's dark, pitch black. Cop tells the kid to freeze. The kid turned around, gun in hand. It's dark. Cop can see the shadow of the gun. Bow, bow. He kills the kid. Everybody wanted to have an uproar about it until the chief of police showed the gun because it was a BB gun. Oh, an airsoft gun. Oh, he shot him. He had a toy gun. Till they showed the gun. And the first thing I said was, what happened to them making toy guns recognizable as toy guns? What happened to all the rainbow colors that they, you know, and the red tips and everything? So that way people, most especially law enforcement, could recognize that this was a toy. What happened to those guns? Did we stop making them? Clearly. Clearly. But that's what happens in, you know, regentrified neighborhoods. The infrastructure brings down crime. Or they might be building a RoboCop. Oh yeah, they got those out in San Francisco. Well, there was a tech company. They've got those RoboCop style cops out there in San Francisco. I don't know if they still have them out there, but I know they were testing them. They had the R2-D2 robot, the two-legged one, and the police box, where they were able to detect crime. I know they definitely have those out there. I know they definitely have the facial recognitions scanners. I know they definitely have those out there. So good luck being a wanted fugitive in San Francisco. Like once they stop being soft on crime, you can forget it. But you know, they roll stuff out there just like this situation in Washington, D.C. They roll it out there to test it. Just like when they've legalized marijuana in Colorado and the state of Washington. They just rolled it out there to test it, and now there are smoke shops all over the United States. But yeah, it's over. It's over.
Thank you. No more. I'm done with that.
It's
But
guns
there's
on
actually
the-
hurdles that you face, and you're just talking about it right there. But what can you conceivably do as the DC U.S. Attorney to address those laws, address the DC Crime Lab, which is not accredited, and also at the same time address some of the prosecutorial?
Somebody can't even spell reporter. Okay. You see that?
Those are great questions. Number one, the DC Crime Lab is now accredited and validated very recently. So Dr. Diaz has communicated that to us, and we are working with the DC Crime Lab. Our concern is making sure that we have enough people who are able to analyze the DNA and all of the testing that we need to have done. That's number one. Number two, as it relates to prosecution, I have been very clear that Title 16 is not enough. Under Title 16, if you are 16 or 17 years of age, we can get you for rape 1, murder, robbery 1, burglary 1. But if you shoot someone and don't kill them, I don't have jurisdiction. It goes to the Attorney General, the State Attorney General, Brian Schwab, and the focus is family court rehabilitation. Now, I was a family court judge in New York for a short period of time. The mission there is not punishment, it's rehabilitation, as evidenced by, do we have those posters? Yeah, we had a poster with what you get is yoga and you get ice cream socials in family court. Well, I'm done with yoga and ice cream socials. We've got to change the law to bring them into the justice system. We've got to get rid of the 3 statutes or 3 laws passed by the DC Council. Number one is the Youth Rehabilitation Act, where you basically say with the Youth Rehabilitation Act that what we're going to do is we're going to say, if you're sentenced and you're under the age of 25, that the judge can give you probation irrespective of what the crime is. That's nonsense. And that's why a judge, and you're tired of hearing about me say this, that's why a judge gave a 19-year-old 2-3 weeks ago, and I wrote an op-ed piece, gave a 19-year-old probation, and I understand it's 2 years probation to go to college with no mandate, for getting on a public bus with an illegal gun, shooting an individual in the chest, which to me is intent to kill. And he walked away after we convicted him. He walked away with no jail time. If that's what you want in this district, then I'm the wrong person to be United States Attorney. Number one, the Incarceration Reduction Act. The Incarceration Reduction Act that the DC left-leaning council passed says if you're 25 years old and you were sentenced to 15 years as a young kid for probably murder, even a serial murderer, we can let you out if you're 25. We can let you out because, not because you're rehabilitated, not because the offense wasn't that bad, but because we can. And that's got to go. All right. And the third thing is record sealing. I go through all of the effort to get a conviction, and they want to seal the convictions. They want to say, we want to seal convictions after 5 years. If I'm a mother, and thank God my kids are older, if I'm a mother, I want to know if a nanny has an assault conviction. If I'm an employer, I want to know if this person has been convicted of larceny or petty larceny. Or if, say, I'm not in a public school, but I got a private, like teaching a tennis group. I need to know if this guy's a predator, a pedophile. Everything about the DC Council's focus is defendant-oriented. I'm oriented to these people, and the people of the district are as well.
You just walked through the
You can take a look at them.
You know, there has been there's been a great deal of discussion.
Can we get you the mic?
You want me at the mic?
You can hold
There's been a great deal of discussion about crime in the district. And the other day, I wanted to get a sense of what is actually happening in the District of Columbia. I asked for the number of teens who have been shot and killed by gunfire. Teens, everyone under the age of 20. As you can
Now, keep in mind, Jasmine Crockett said 80% of the murders committed in America is by white supremacists. So I guess all these people, all these black kids were killed by white supremacists, huh? I guess they were white supremacists with deep tans.
see in 2024, we have, I believe I said it was, how many? Yeah. As you can see in 2024, we have 29 individuals who were shot and killed in the district, all teens, some as young as 3 years of age.
Yeah.
Okay. Because of gunfire. Some of these cases are solved, some of them are not solved. But what this makes clear to me is that there is a whole community that is suffering because of the violent crime in this district. And anyone who wants to tell me the crime is down and that we don't need an emergency focus on crimes of violence, all they need to do is take a look at this and talk to the loved ones and the family members of these individuals, all shot and killed long before their time.
With, you know, she has to understand that black on black crime is applauded, accepted, rewarded, condoned, celebrated by low IQ Democratic black people. I mean, look at how women are responding to the Sha'Carri Richardson situation. Look at how Sha'Carri Richardson, I saw the body cam footage early this morning. I saw her body cam footage. She was quick to, but he's the man. I'm breaking up with him. You know, he's a coward. He's a coward for not punching you in your face for what you did to him. What are you talking about? You tried to ruin this man's life, and you've got women, just like with Umar, defending him. You got Charlemagne the fraud defending Umar Johnson. Knowing he's a scammer, defending the hell out of him. You got women defending Sha'Carri Richardson. Didn't do nothing. You got people defending Carmelo Anthony. These people are black on black crime is acceptable amongst a certain segment of black people, poor, low IQ, or just low IQ black people. They support black on black crime, but quick to holler about white supremacy and racism. Quick to lay up with the very people that commit crimes against other black people, violent crimes against other black people. Will lay up with them and reproduce with them quick. Hide them out. Look at the 8-9 people that escaped from that jail in Louisiana. Most of them was caught with family members. You know what I'm saying? Family members and baby mamas and girlfriends. They wasn't hard to track down at all. One dude was still in the city at I think he was at his baby mama's house making a video talking about how he was innocent. Then why'd you escape?
Now, over here are the individuals who were shot and killed under the age of 20, all teenagers in 2025. And the number here is 16.
And none of them killed by white folks.
All members of the minority community here. I don't know how many of these cases have been solved, but what I can tell you is, again, it's guns on the streets. It's individuals who are not concerned about accountability, who don't have any reason to fear law enforcement. I am here today to tell you that on behalf of all of these victims, all of these families, that they're going to be accountable, that we are going to make a difference, and that we are going to make sure that law enforcement is focused on these innocent, now silent victims of crime in the district.
But, you know, Simone Sanders said that, you know, more police in these poor black areas will not, you know, is not needed. I guess they need less police and less criminal convictions in order to what? Stop crime? Like, she, you know, she's going to have to explain that. But, you know, as a black woman, she celebrates it. What's up, Unsung One?
Anywhere else? All I know is we rank in deaths. 2 years ago, we were one of the fourth highest. We were the fourth highest in the United States. I don't need any more statistics. All I need are people to recognize that these were vibrant human beings cut down because of illegal guns. I guarantee you that every one of these shootings was with an illegal gun. All right. And I guarantee you that every one of these individuals was shot and killed by someone who felt that they were never going to be caught. And I want to send a message that we are going to catch you, that we are going to change the laws, that if you're 14, 15, 16, 17, we're going to bring you into the justice system. No more of this DC, you know, council. Oh, you know, if they're under 16 or if they're under 19 or if they're under 25, we'll give them probation. No more. I'm done.
Yeah, she's done. She's done.
Stop! He's already dead.
I'm gonna try to come on tonight. I want to do, because Trump did this press conference here concerning it. I mean, maybe I'll probably be beating a dead horse, but this is like a two. Let's see. They say it's 2 hours and 24 minutes, but he probably didn't really talk for that long. Let's see here. Did he? No, he didn't. Okay, he didn't really talk for that long. So he started right around, so an hour. So, but we're not going to deal with it right now. We'll deal with it later today. Looks like he talked for about an hour and maybe 19 minutes or whatever. But we'll get into it tonight. We've already been here an hour and 13 minutes. But yeah, like what they're doing in DC is just the start. It's just the start. It's just the start. Even Brandon, what's that guy? Brandon Scott. Because Baltimore is one of the areas that Trump is looking to deploy the National Guard. And he's, you know, you don't need to bring the National Guard here. Negro, you haven't even caught all of the shooters in the Brooklyn Day shooting last year. Y'all remember that shooting last year around this time? Some YNs shot up, you know, the little block party. You still ain't caught all the shooters from there. And I guarantee you a bunch of them, the ones that he didn't catch, I guarantee you they're teenagers. Shooting up parties appears to be the young black thing to do. Outside of, you know, looting stores. They're trying to put a stop to this. We'll put a stop to this, and it's going to be messy. But hopefully within the next 4 to 8 years, you'll see a great reduction in poverty. We'll see. All right, y'all. I will catch y'all tonight. We will get into it. I'm gonna change this ending around, also the intro, but yeah, we'll get on at 9 o'clock tonight. I promise, because I do need to talk about Shedeur Sanders on my sports channel. Let's see here. Hold on, let me get y'all the sports channel now. I don't even know why I just did it like that. Wow, look at this. New Orleans judge caught rigging trials. Ain't that crazy? Woo! God damn it. Hold on, sorry. Hold on, y'all. Let me bring the channel up. So that way y'all can see it. I'll drop the link to, let's see, channel. Oh, why everybody trying to steal my stuff? Look at this. Wait. Look at this. Everybody trying to steal my stuff. Trying to steal my stuff. Trying to steal my stuff. Where's my dadgone channel? Where's my Raw Dog channel? Everybody trying to steal my channel. I'm glad. I'm just digging around, but on my Raw Dog channel. Damn it. Damn. Hold on. Raw Dogs Browns. Let's see here. Oops. Y'all gotta be kidding me. They was stealing my stuff. Hold on. Let's see here. Hold on, y'all. I get it. Let's see here. Hold on. Wait, how am I just switch? Yeah, switch the account. What the heck am I doing? There y'all go. All right. There it is. There's the link. All right. Yeah, it looks like this. Looks like that, but I need to, how I said, Shedeur isn't for Cleveland. Yeah, I need to come around on that. But yeah, I need to get into this. All right, so I will catch y'all later. I'll be straight. I'll catch y'all later.
Demon King Satan, Satan,
Nope, not
Satan,
at all.
Satan, 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 Satan.
I actually felt retarded, like really retarded. I mean, I brushed my teeth retarded. I rode the bus retarded.
Dang.
In a weird way, I had to sort of just free myself up to believe that it was okay to be stupid or dumb.
To be a moron.
Yeah,
To be Morocco.
exactly. To be a moron.
An imbecile.
Yeah.
Not the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
And even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. No.
You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you.
1, 2, 3.
And then I'm like, this baby motherfucker better not blow up by nuclear shit, or I'm gonna go loco on this bitch. And then he blows up all my nuclear shit, and I'm like, call my general. And they tell me, they're all dead, sir. And I'm like, assemble the army. And they're like, they're dead too, sir. So then I'm like, launch the friggin' missiles. And they're like, sir, they're gone, sir. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Damn, I know I shouldn't have called on this nigga. I shouldn't have called on you because you always trying to distract motherfucker. Fine, I'll answer your stupid ass question.
We have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Because Trump bad. Trump bad.
Get the fuck out!
All right, hi. Thanks for the fun.